It's the Sports Lounge, number 217. Charlie Hildebrand is here. Travis Krins is here with the Nebraska hats. And Nathan Stacken. I believe it was circumcision. He said he was getting a circumcision today, so he should be back. Icing and all of that coming up soon.
Weird that Stacken waited this long in his life to get circumcised. But
you know him how iffy he is. Like, well, I think this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised with this. I don't know. This is probably wrong, but I'll say it anyway. Is there a more what's the word? A person who's more unsure of himself? Less confident in his
strictly,
picks?
We're talking on the Sports Lounge. I think that it's fair to say that in a lot of things, Stacken, I'll put a positive spin on it. Let's say instead of unsure of himself, Stacken likes to keep his options open. Doesn't want to completely commit to something unless he's absolutely certain of. This stuff you're up. Right. Which goes with the "I wouldn't be surprised" catchphrase.
I think this is going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, is what we'll say. The NBA playoffs are going on. I don't like them. We're waiting. It's just Cleveland, Golden State. We're just waiting. Has your interest been anything of note for these playoffs? Because Cleveland and Golden State are rolling through everybody. Any interest at all in these games?
Has your interest I agree. It's not been very good up to now, just because there have been very few close games. And then just most series, with a handful of exceptions in the first round, most series have generally been like, oh, well, I'm pretty sure that this team's going to win. Even if they lose a game here, they're going to win the series. And like you said, it might not work out this way, but it certainly seems like we're just waiting for the third straight year to have Cleveland and Golden State in the finals, and who's going to win the rubber match.
I don't think there's been an upset yet as far as the playoffs. Maybe Utah Clippers, but then Clippers lost Blake Griffin. So that was basically a toss-up right there.
And it was a 4 or 5 game anyways, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went all 7 games. Came down to the 7th game there. And Utah, they beat the hell out of the Clippers. I think it was last Sunday, so that was good to see. Golden State, Cleveland, they're both undefeated. Cleveland's going to be 8-0 here in about an hour or a couple hours, sweeping Toronto, and hopefully Golden State can do the same against Utah. I think Golden State's run has been a little bit more impressive because Utah is probably the best team of that bunch. And I think they've won every game except one by at least 10 points. While at Cleveland-Indiana series, those games were basically all toss-ups. Is that the way you see it? I think Golden State's been a little bit more impressive here.
I think that's fair to say. The bottom line is they both look way better than not only every other team in their conference, they just look like they're playing better than basically everyone else in the NBA right now. I think if you wanted to make a case that the Rockets or the Spurs could maybe give either of those two teams some trouble. I mean, I get that they can't play the Cavs unless they play them in the finals, but like other than those two teams, I mean, it just seems like everyone else is outmatched and outgunned. I mean, Cleveland's the number 2 seed, and just like nobody even remotely thinks that Boston's going to do anything against them. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Shaq and Kobe Lakers teams, where like the Sacramento Kings or someone else would be like, oh, we're the 1 seed, we're going to have home field advantage, and everyone else was like, yeah, we don't care. It's not going to matter.
Whatever it is about NBA specifically, where compared to the other sports, really don't know who's going to be in there at the end. Super Bowl, World Series, finals, we kind of know, and we know for the last 20 years we've got a pretty good idea. So whatever that was, whatever makes basketball, you just have that 1 or 2 dominant players, and if you have the best player, unlike in the other sports, you're probably going to win here. Somebody else does show up.
And the other thing, the playoffs last year weren't very good either. Now, I could be missing out on a few things, but my recollection is the Golden State Oklahoma City Thunder series.
That was good.
It was the Western Conference Finals, I think, that was very good. But even the NBA Finals, like it went 7 games, and Game 7 was good. But most of the games in the NBA Finals last year were not all that great. They were, I think most of them were, if not double digits, at least games with 2 or 3 minutes left. You're like, okay, I think this one's basically up. But, since it went 7 games and the last game was entertaining, or at least close, and Cleveland winning was a big deal, that I think a lot of times we kind of gloss over the fact that, the end result in the final, the very, very end of it was good. Most of the playoffs last year was pretty underwhelming. And it looks like we kind of might get that this year again, too. I mean, if it's Cleveland and Golden State and it goes 7 games, and 3 of the games, including Game 7, are good in the finals, I think we would all look back on it and be like, yeah, maybe it wasn't great early, but at least the finals were good, because that's probably what's most important.
You would be correct in your assessment that last year's finals was not close. Golden State won the first 2 games. They won them by 15 points, and they won Game 2 by 33 points. Cleveland won the second game by 30 points, and Golden State won on the road by 9 or 11 points. And then Draymond Green.
Are you saying that gave them a 3-1 lead?
They gave them a 3. They won 3 games, and then Cleveland won 1 of the games through the first 4. So it'll be 3-1 lead. And then Draymond Green gets suspended. Cleveland wins by 15. Cleveland wins by 14. Cleveland won the last game by 4. So both teams, it was hard to.
I forgot that Draymond got suspended last year.
And that was your turning point. Oh, the series. And 2 games this year between Cleveland and Golden State. Golden State came from behind 89-83 to win on a Christmas Day. That was a good comeback from them, from what I remember. Cleveland pretty much led the entire game. And then they played 3 weeks later, my birthday, January 18th. And Golden State beat Cleveland by 34 points. So that's not great. So Golden State, Cleveland, still waiting for you for another month. So that's nice. Spurs, Houston is a series. Spurs are up 2-1. We have 3 playoff games on a Sunday. Tony Parker's done for the rest of these playoffs. Kawhi Leonard, he's got to lead the way. James Harden's good. This one seems like it's going to go 7. Boston, Washington seems like it's going to go 7. So at least there's 2 sweeps and 2 7-game series right here. Is there a series you are more intrigued by? It seems like Boston, Washington, we've had some suspensions. We've had some bad blood here all season long, and the playoffs are no different. And Seattle, Spurs, and Rockets may be the second and third best teams, or maybe the 2 other best teams besides the top 2. And I really don't know who's going to win that series.
I think they're both intriguing. I think that the Houston-San Antonio series is a bit more so. This maybe isn't the right way to look into it, because certainly, even though the Spurs have had some good players that have retired, like Tim Duncan and other guys that are old, it's not like everyone on their roster's 34. But it sort of kind of seems like the new guard and old guard series, with Houston and James Harden. And not that, I mean, that gives either one of them, a huge advantage, but it just kind of seems like the old guys trying to do it for, a few more times here, and then Houston, I mean, I don't know if they're going to build anything off of this, but certainly, as they are constructed right now, are pretty good. They are unfortunately in the West and not the East. But I think that, and also just that Harden, I don't know if he's probably going to be second in the MVP race. Maybe it sounds like maybe win the MVP, but that that he is a very, very good scorer, and that I think there's more intrigue for me in that one than the other one. Although Isaiah Thomas against John Wall is also entertaining as well. And if you get a few more shoving matches in that series, you could certainly jump up a little bit more. It's always fun with when the basketball turns into, maybe not quite like hockey, but turns into a little bit more aggressive play.
Stacking will be earner bits. That's what that was. This is based on the Rockets now are basically what the Suns were 8 or 10 years ago. Got same coach, same offense, and they came very, very close. They could never beat the Spurs. They came very close to reaching the finals with Steve Nash, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire, all those guys. Now Mike D'Antoni's doing the exact same thing. Houston, they shoot all the threes. People are, maybe I've seen people in articles out there, people complaining how James Harden plays because of the fouls that he basically that he initiates basically, and he gets to the foul line a lot. He gets 8 or 10 points a game just from the foul line. Is that an irritant to you guys that pump fake and then do the thing and you get foul shots?
I've got mixed feelings about it. I think that as long as the refs are calling it in a certain way, it's more beneficial to do what he does, so I understand it. I think it would maybe be better if referees would, do a little bit more of the, I see what you're doing there, and while technically that might have sort of kind of been a foul, like, no, we're not going to call this when you're 38 feet away, and we know you really weren't going to make that or shoot that there, so you're just going to have to live with that really long missed three. But I don't have super strong feelings about it either. What are your opinions on the subject matter?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but if they're going to call it, I guess that's on the refs. They're calling it, and he's going to keep on doing it. And I guess that's his choice. And he can do that. So the hockey, gotta say, I've been more interested in the hockey, which isn't to say that I'm interested in the hockey, but compared to the basketball, I'm more interested in the hockey. And
it was coming from you. That is
yes.
A strong statement.
Which should tell you that I'm not very interested in the basketball right now at all. Anaheim.
Like a Republican coming out in favor of gun control,
yes.
Or a Democrat coming out in favor of tax cuts for the wealthy.
It
really means something when it's coming from those guys.
Not what you would expect. Everybody likes to see him the Oilmen, as we like to call them now, I guess. The Oilers from Edmonton. They're against the Ducks, and Edmonton was up 3-0 with about a little over 3 minutes to go in this game. Why I was watching the end of this at whatever the hell it was, 11:30 on a Friday night, I'm not sure. Edmonton gives up 1 goal. They give up 2 goals. They give up 3 goals in the last 3 minutes. This was the bed shitting of a lifetime here. Edmonton could have completely taken this series home with them to win. But 3-0, 3 minutes left. You lose the game in, I believe, double overtime. I did not stay up for the overtimes. One of the all-time classic. What would be, because nobody cares because it's hockey, and I'm sure people don't even know what happened because it happened against Edmonton and Anaheim on a Friday night, and nobody cares. Super Bowl was a great comeback, but this was, there was that college basketball comeback there earlier in the season, like New Mexico State and Nevada or somebody, and one of them was down by 12 points with a minute left and came back to win in overtime. I think this is that level of a comeback.
There's one that popped into my head. We'll see if you remember. You might not remember this. This was a long time ago.
Is it baseball?
I was in high school, and I remember it specifically. It wasn't a baseball one. It's a football game. And I remember it even more so because I had a mono, and this was the first day that I had it, and everybody on TV was talking about this game for Monday Night Football the night before.
Jets, Dolphins?
This would have been 2000. No, it wasn't that one.
Bucks,
but
Colts?
It was Bucks, Colts, where I think the Colts were down by 21 with 4 minutes left. And came back and won in overtime, where it's not just the comeback. I mean, the comeback is impressive enough in itself, but it's that with so little time left, you haven't even really started it yet. Because, the Patriots comeback was in the Super Bowl was a big deal, but, by
third quarter.
I think, they were down 28-3, but they had,
20 minutes.
more than 4 or 5 minutes to do it. It took a while where, the hockey game you mentioned with 3 minutes left down the run. I mean, that's I feel like that would be about the equivalent of blowing a 5-run lead in baseball in the 9th inning. Maybe more,
yeah.
but yeah. I mean, in basketball, like you said, like blowing a 12-point lead with a minute, or like you and I blowing it in like 2 years ago against Texas A&M in the second round of March Madness.
That was rough.
But yeah, the first one I thought of was that Colts-Bucks game, which I'm sure Amon loves to remember.
When I'm trying to look this up, 2003. I finally find it here. Yes, 2003. Here it is. Let's go in depth here. October 6th of 2003. Bucks defense, great.
Defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Great Buccaneers team. Peyton Manning, 38-35. Bucks go to Colts go to 5-0. Game did go in overtime. Yeah, 3:37 left is when they got within 2 scores. And a guy named Ricky Williams had a 1-yard rush. Not that guy, the other guy.
Texas Tech Ricky Williams.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's who he is, because I know Texas Tech also had a running back named Ricky Williams, who clearly was not successful to the same degree.
Both quarterbacks.
But played in the NFL and scored a touchdown, so he was at least fairly good.
Both quarterbacks had ratings over 100. Brad Johnson threw for 318 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Peyton Manning threw for 386, 1 interception and one interception, 2 touchdowns. So a little play-by-play here. Go, go, go. Yeah, this one almost ended in a tie.
Also, now that I think about it, that was the game that kind of introduced. I mean, they already had the rule, but I forget what you call it, but the leaping and trying to block a field goal and landing on an offensive player, that had something to do with either a Bucks field goal didn't count and then they missed it from further back, or the Colts missed one, but because of a Bucks penalty, got to try it again and made it. I don't even remember what the penalty was called, but that had some impact. I think in overtime.
Let's see here. Colts score. Hadn't done anything all night. They have a 70-yard drive in 3 plays, so that helps. They had a turnover here. They had a 90-yard return, so they get the ball to 12. That helps. Peyton Manning threw a pick 6 right before this. So pick 6, they get the ball right back. They get it down to the 12. They score right away. They kick an extra point, onside kick. They get it back. Go down the minute later. Go down the field. Bam! It's a 1-score game. Onside kick again. They get it back. Onside kick. They did not get it back, so they had to force a punt, and they did. And ended up scoring a touchdown with 38 seconds left. Tampa Bay gets the ball back just in enough time to get Gramatica a 62-yard field goal that was blocked. Tampa Bay has the ball at the 41 to start overtime. They have to punt. They punt from the opponent's 41. And they wouldn't get the ball back. P. Manning would go on a lengthy 12, 13, 14 play drive. They'd kick a 29-yard field goal. I believe what you're talking about is Vanderjagt tries a field goal. 40-yarder was no good. And Simeon Rice had a unsportsmanlike conduct, which this is what I assume this was. So.
Yeah, and it was, I don't remember the term they used. And I think they've changed the rules again since then anyways. But it was something like, you can jump vertically to attempt to block it, but if you land on an offensive player, and that, I don't remember. I just, this was back when I still watched ESPN for stuff other than the games. And as I was sick, just laying there, not wanting to move, just watched for 3 hours as they kept talking about this comeback and breaking down whether penalty or not. And spoiler alert, neither team won the Super Bowl that year. Because I think that year the Patriots won it.
What's mono like?
It wasn't fun. I didn't move around a whole lot.
What are you just tired? You're just really tired? What is the technical terms here? Why are you tired?
It has something to do with your immune system. I don't remember. They call it the kissing disease at times because you can get it from kissing someone. I unfortunately did not get it that way. I don't remember how I got it. But this will be sort of timely in how things have changed and how society looks at a person that they did not look at this way in time. But I remember for like a week and a half maybe, my typical day was I would walk from my bedroom down to the main floor and lay on the couch and was like exhausted from doing that. And then would turn on the TV and would watch like 2.5 hours worth of The Cosby Show.
Wow.
So it was on a whole bunch of different channels. And nobody knew the things about Bill Cosby then that they knew now. And then, I'd watch some sports and stuff. And then I would think, oh, I want to play video games. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to walk all the way downstairs, and that's going to take effort. And the echo's back.
God damn it. Let's fix the echo there. Where the hell there it is? Okay, that better?
That is better. It works again now. Oh, nope, need it again. The echo came back. It was But yeah, so it was basically just doing menial tasks would be sort of like the equivalent of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of stuff, but football in high school, I would feel just like walking down the stairs and going to get a glass of water would be sort of like after you're done with two-a-days, like 10 minutes later, where you're not like breathing heavy so much anymore, but you're just like, oh, my body's just tired and worn out. So it wasn't fun. Watched a lot of TV. Watched The Cosby Show. Turned out he wasn't such a great guy after all. I think I also watched some in 90210 and Dawson's Creek. It was like, these shows aren't that good and don't do a whole lot for me.
How did you know that you
The
had?
Cosby Show did, and it's just.
Oh yeah. How did you know you had?
What's that?
How did you know you had it?
Well, at first it was I was sick, and then we went to the hospital and got checked for it. They did some kind of
Check for it.
test. I don't know. When you're asking me medical questions, at times I can't give a good answer because I never paid attention. Because since my father is a doctor and my mom's a nurse, that they would tell them stuff, and I just wouldn't care because I would be like, well, they'll know what to do because they know this stuff anyways.
Interesting.
So instead of having a doctor explain it to me, I was just like, yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to die. That's all I need.
Don't mean by translator. Say, yep, all right, you got it, yep, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. What do we got? Halfway through the third. Toronto's down by 16 at home, so they're going to lose, I hope. And Cleveland, they're going to get a lot of rest. They're going to get like 8 days of rest here if this Boston-Washington series goes 7. So thank God they rested. You need your rest in these playoffs. Something we talked about last week. I think it's finally on the internet now. Your top 15 draft busts. My guy leads off the list at 15. Where do we go from there? I think. From what I remember.
I don't remember the order off the top of my head. I know Manziel was 15. I had a bunch of quarterbacks between 11 and 15. I think they were mostly quarterbacks and receivers between 11 and 15. I think Joey Harrington was around there.
Yeah. Peter Ward.
Somewhere around there. I think I had Andre Ware also. Along with Penn State defensive end, and then for the Cleveland Browns, Courtney Brown. Sorry, I don't know why I said Ware. Courtney Brown, who I didn't remember this, but in doing my brief research for it, Courtney Brown left college football as the FBS career leader in both sacks and tackles for loss. So you would think oh, this guy's going to be pretty good. But he wasn't. He did not have like career-ending injuries, but I know he had a lot of nagging injuries, so that might have played a part in it. I think my favorite one on the list was San Francisco receiver Rashawn Woods.
That was probably the most surprising
Very good
one.
at Oklahoma State.
He didn't do anything. What do you call it? One pass?
I think other than he and Manziel,
Four
those
passes?
are the only two that weren't drafted in the top 10. They were both towards the end of the first round. But a first-round draft pick who caught 7 passes in his career and 2 years later, like, completely out of the NFL, never to do it again. And I think that's the other reason Manziel's on the list, because I think he maybe wasn't as bad of a quarterback as some, but most of them.
He's
Well,
out.
if you're picked in the first round as a quarterback, even if it's not for the same team, you're usually in the league for 4 or 5 years. But to be just done after 2 years for a first round pick's rare. But Rashawn Wood, I think it was just for 140 yards and no touchdowns or something like that.
It's a pretty good game.
It was just like,
It's a good game.
man. And part of the reason also is I remember, as growing up a Nebraska fan, he played at Oklahoma State. I remember he was incredibly good in college, and that was around the time where I kind of realized that, like, receivers are really not your thing when you're drafting them. It's very much a crapshoot, maybe even to the same degree like quarterbacks. But Rashawn Woods, along with Charles Rogers, two of the guys I'm like, yeah, this guy will be good because I saw how good he was in college, and it was just like, nope, didn't work out at all.
Ryan Leaf was number 1, as you would expect. Tony Mandrich was on the list.
Number 3.
Who was number
The
2?
interesting thing about Tony Mandrich is that he was drafted in the top 5. 4 of the guys drafted in the top 5 went on to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Hard to not do good.
Tony Mandrich.
Who was number 2?
I think it was our number 2 on the list was Jamarcus Russell,
That's
who
right.
also was bad.
Not good.
But I remember there was a point in time thinking, like, Jamarcus Russell's the biggest NFL draft bust ever. He's even worse than Ryan Leaf. And I double-checked it when I did the list, but a few years ago I kind of looked at it also, and it was like, oh, yeah, Russell doesn't have great stats, but his aren't as bad as Ryan Leaf's, though. Leaf was something like he had, like, 12 touchdowns and 37 interceptions.
Wow.
Basically 3 seasons. I think he might have played a few more than 3 seasons, but he only actually played on the field, I think, for 3. And it was, especially when you, kind of like I did with Mandrich, part of it is comparing who was drafted around you when you compare Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf's careers. I don't think you can find a bigger, starker contrast amongst all sorts of different things, like personality, on the field, off the field, everything, between Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. 2 guys who at the time, there were all sorts of people, because I remember as a kid, got Sports Illustrated back then, and I remember reading in there, like, multiple people saying, like, yeah, Peyton will be better now. 5 years from now, Ryan Leaf's going to be better. And you would really have to hate Peyton Manning to say that Ryan Leaf was better now, with looking back on it.
14 touchdowns, 36 interceptions. That's bad. I'm looking at every game he ever played. I think it's safe to say he had 1 game over 100 as far as a quarterback rating. 1 game over 90, make that. His best game, he was 13-27, so less than 50%. That was his best game, not completion percentage-wise, but that's what he did in his best game. For his 311 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception, in a 38-37 loss at Denver in November of 2000. That was by far the best game he ever played.
I think he had a completion percentage below 50% for his career, if I remember right.
Exactly 50. It's
50.
Well, it's 3.
It
is below. It's just below. It's 317 for 655. So that would be below 50.
You'll work on the list for a completion percentage below 50%. Most of the other guys, while also not good, it's like 53, 54%. Somewhere in there, if I remember right.
48% passer. Yeah, it's Wasn't good, and he was given ample opportunities. He was started 9 games his first year, started 9 games his second year. We're almost 20 games in, and you win 4 of them, and you throw, you throw 33 interceptions in about a season's worth of work. Dallas picked him up for some reason. Didn't matter. He was 0 for 3 with the Dallas.
Didn't work out. I don't think I mentioned it in the thing I wrote, but also a lot of people forget that the Chargers were originally slated to draft 3rd in the '98 NFL draft, but traded up with the Arizona Cardinals, who drafted 2nd. They switched picks, much like the 49ers did this year. But the Chargers gave up. I don't remember if they gave up a whole lot of draft picks other than switching picks. I know they traded some players, and obviously it didn't work out well for the Chargers. I think the Cardinals drafted a defensive end from Florida State, who also did not work out well, but as it seems like it's been proven numerous times in the NFL, is that if you are going to pick a bust in the first round, it's a lot better if it is not a quarterback. If it's most other positions, you can kind of move on a little bit easier, or with a quarterback, you're just kind of screwed.
Yes. We may do a trivia question based off of this here. Which one of these guys do you think went into it was just a bad team? If he goes to another team, or even if he stays healthy, he might have been okay. Or maybe they're all garbage.
That's a good question. Not Vernon Gholston. Vernon Gholston I knew wasn't great. He was even worse than I remember when I looked at his stats. The defensive end out of Ohio State, taken by the Jets, never recorded a sack in his career. I think that all of them are sort of like, let's put it different, that there's like a quarterback division and the non-quarterback division. I don't know if Joe Harrington would have been great, but I think if you would have put Joey Harrington in the right circumstances, he could have been better than the others. I think he had 1 year where he played with the Dolphins, where he started like 2 or 3 games, and by no means was like really good, but was like adequate.
Mm-hmm.
For the non-quarterbacks, and maybe this is just like the kid in high school remembering how good he was in college, but if Charles Rogers wouldn't have gotten hurt his rookie year and then like addicted to painkillers or whatever it was that essentially got him kicked out of the league, and probably if he would have been drafted by a better organization, the Detroit Lions, I think it's possible he could have been good also. But yeah, it's weird that there's a fair amount of guys drafted by both the Browns and the Lions on that list.
My trivia question was going to be name quarterbacks who had lower career completion percentages than Ryan Leaf, but the list is not worthy of that. How many guys do you think? He threw 655 passes, so that's the benchmark. You had to throw at least that many. How many quarterbacks do you think was worse than his 48.4%?
655, we'll say that's roughly like a season and a half. So you'd have to start for about a season and a half. I don't know, let's say like 9 guys lower than that.
30.
30. And I would imagine most of them are guys that like nobody's ever heard of before.
That's why we're not doing the question. Yes.
How many of the 30 are names that you even recognize in the first place?
3.
Oh, wow.
4.
That's even,
4.
I didn't think it'd be a lot out of the 30, but that's even lower than I would have guessed.
I've heard of 4 of these guys. Todd Blackledge is right behind him.
Okay. Yeah, he wasn't very good.
He was not good. George Blanda. I think it might be...
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought Blanda would be on that list. I thought he was at least a fairly capable quarterback, but maybe not after all.
He was around for a long time. Jack Kemp. I always hear about Jack Kemp with, Buffalo. And the last guy that I think I have heard of is Bobby Douglas. Was he with Detroit? Eagles?
Yeah.
The Eagles? No, he was with the Bears. Yeah, he was not good either. 30 guys. I haven't heard of any of them. And there's nobody recent at all. Nobody. Todd Blackledge is the most recent, 1989. So they're Hasn't been any quarterback in the last 30 to 40 years that have had completion percentage anywhere close to that bad.
Yeah, I know. When I put the list together, I figured Leaf would probably be number one, but I wanted to look at a few other guys to kind of make a case for it because it's so easy to put Leaf number one. But even when I looked at it, it's like, gosh, this guy was so bad and just like worse than all the other quarterbacks. I know Akili Smith also wasn't very good and didn't play very much, but man, Leaf was bad, and it was a very weird guy that spent time in prison even. And, yeah.
Did the pills and all that stuff, and he had something on ESPN. I guess he's fine now. They had a big, I think, outside the line special of just him, where he would go to Stacken's house, look through his medicine cabinet, and take all its pills. All that is true.
It sounds like something he'd do. That's probably why he spent some time in prison.
Everything about that is true, except he wasn't.
The pills he got from breaking his arm when he was in third grade would be stolen by a future first-round quarterback.
All that is true, except the second part. You're still muted. Yeah. As you chomp on some jelly beans here, I can only assume. He says, "God damn it, what is that? From your circumcision? What is that? A granola bar?" I don't know. We can't hear you. So. We can't hear him. He's in and out. We're going to walk in, we're going to walk out. So he did that. Now he's like, speaking to kids about, hey, don't be a dumb shit like me and have millions of dollars and do the pills. Now we're back. Granola bar? What did we have? A cookie?
Pizza crust.
Pizza crust. From who?
Just came back from a baptism and we're feeling really good about ourselves.
About time he got baptized. Good. Pizza from who?
Papa John's. What other pizza place would I go to?
What are the discounts when the Vikings do good?
Well, the wife had one large, get one free pizza for the Celebrations of Nations thing from a year ago. So, Papa John's has honored that.
From a year ago. Is it choppy for you, Charlie?
It's sort of choppy.
We did that. Have you heard about the Papa Slam? The Papa Slam. We can't hear Stacken again. We can't hear.
I have not heard about the Papa Slam.
We can't hear it. It's too much cheese in that crust. It's soaking up the sound in the room.
That's not all Papa John soaks up, but it does soak up sound.
Soaks it all up. He's leaving us again. The Papa Slam is something that baseball does. It's on the MLB Network all the time. If there's a grand slam, next day it's 40% off. Now we're back.
Is there anything that's working?
Now it's working.
Okay, well, Papa John's and Jelly Bellies, proud sponsor.
Have you heard? You have not heard of the Papa Slam?
I have not. What is that?
Baseball. If somebody hits a grand slam, it's 40% off the next day.
Well, goddamn. Let's go. Let's go, Giancarlo Stanton.
Check into it. I don't know if it's maybe some of them do it, some of them don't. Seems like you would assume there's probably a grand slam every week or so. So it seems like a good deal for you.
Hey, did Rincon hit a grand slam last Sunday?
Who?
Rincon, Washington Nationals guy.
Well, I don't know if he did. Somebody did. My guy for the Dodgers, Cody Bellinger, hit a home run last night. So Papa Slam 40% off today.
Love the
Penguin shirt
I know
purchase.
it wasn't a grand slam, but last Sunday was Anthony Rendon did have
That's right.
3 home runs and touched pretty good.
Rendon, that's the guy I was talking about.
Yeah, he had the.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured.
You know me, I'm terrible with names, so this is about as close as you're going to get.
Get the first couple letters right. Sounds similar. Purchased for $12. 50% off downtown Sioux Falls on a Friday night. It's very smooth. It's very smooth. You can almost see the glisten. Glistens. It's very smooth. So I like it.
It's about as smooth as Andre Fleury letting up a third period goal.
What's the hockey looking like here? What, it's 3-2 Pittsburgh. We got Nashville trying to shit their pants here. What do we got with Nashville?
Let me change to that. I've been watching
1-1. Nashville can close it out. So let's do that now.
Let's please. We need to get to a Stanley Cup final.
Well, I turn it over, and no less than 5 seconds after I turn it over, they score. So that's good.
Okay, I just saw that now. So thank you, Dish.
Dish, good. So Nashville, they can win this one. They'd be done.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's got a couple opportunities here. What is Ottawa 3-2? Is it Ottawa 3-2?
Let me tell you something about Anaheim. Down 3-0.
We talked about it already. Greatest comeback of all time. Greatest comeback ever.
Okay, well there you go. So they can win it tonight. That's great.
Guess what football.
Stack it just for fun. Yeah, I was going to say,
Yes.
Krins compared that game to a certain comeback in a different sport, and I compare it to a certain comeback in a different sport from hockey or what Krins said. Can you guess either of the two comebacks we compared it to?
Mine was very recent, and it was not the Super Bowl. Charlie's was from approximately 15 years ago.
Yeah, mine was mine was a while ago.
15 years ago.
Ish, not exactly 15.
Well, I would have said it would have been the Patriots over the Panthers in the Super Bowl.
Patriots Falcons.
Okay, that's a 15.
Patriots Panthers. What the fuck is Patriots Panthers?
Hey, if you had said the last year, then I would have gotten that. But you said the last 15.
Well, mine is very recent. Mine was the college.
Patriots or the Panthers. Excuse me.
Mine's not either of those two
Okay.
games, but it is an NFL game.
Mine was I think it was Nevada, New Mexico State. Great comeback.
Oh yes.
They were down like 12 points with 70 seconds left. They were down 15, 16 points with like under 4 to go. It was a great comeback.
Let me ask you this: if, like with hockey, you can pull the goalie off whenever you want to make a 6-on-5. Would you like basketball to see something like that?
How would that work?
I don't know.
There's no
That's why
goalie
I'm
in
asking.
basketball.
I think that'd be interesting.
So you could go like 4. You could go 4-on-5 defensively, but 6-on-4 offensively. I don't even know how that would work.
Be fun, wouldn't it?
Maybe. Charlie's.
I mean, you could do it either way. You just keep the guy down on one side and just don't even move him to the other end.
Like the Kings were going to try that like last year, but that didn't happen. Any guesses to
Playoffs a couple of years ago, Patrick Waugh kept pulling the goalie off with like 2.5 or 3 minutes to go, and we all thought he was stupid, and he still scored 2 in that series. So it was quite.
Twins Red Sox playing an entertaining game. Red Sox here just blew it open in the 8th inning. 7-6 game is turned into like a 10-6 game. Charlie's game.
It was an NFL regular season game from 2003, Stack, and there's your large clue. That involved a Hall of Fame quarterback against a quarterback who is not in the Hall of Fame but had already won a Super Bowl at that point in time.
I don't have it.
2003, the Colts, I think, were down 21 points and came back and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the final 3 or 4 minutes and won it overtime.
Monday Night Football. I do remember that.
And that would be probably down 3 scores with. You shouldn't even get the ball 3 times in the last 5 seconds. So.
Okay, let me ask you this: whenever you had a Monday Night Football game, did your parents ever make you go to bed early before the game ended? If it wasn't,
the Dolphins-Jets game where the Jets came back and they won, didn't find out until the next day at school that the Dolphins lost.
I wouldn't.
That was rough.
I really wouldn't care enough to watch the whole game. If it was Vikings, I would take a nap that evening. Like, game would start like at 8 o'clock, 7:30. So I would take a nap like 6 to 7 or 6 to 8. I'd take a nap then, so I could stay up till 11:30 to watch this goddamn game. So
That's what I wondered. If you
What
you
about
could
you?
watch the Monday night football game whenever you were like, it was your favorite team, would you be allowed to do that?
I think it was more just for me. I just don't want to be dead ass tired in the morning, so I'll maybe get a couple hours of sleep now. instead of
Fuck
that.
school.
Wow. Were you allowed to stay up?
For games that involve the Vikings, yes.
Good.
Every once in a while, for other games, yes, but most of the time, no.
Go to bed, they say. Did you have a TV in your room?
I did not. Moss Stackham would not allow
Ma stacking, tied on the old TV in the room, clamping down there. Now we're
I
going.
did on and off. Usually I would do something to get in some sort of trouble, not like major trouble or trouble with the law, but something where they would be like, all right, no more TV in your room now.
They take it out?
They'd take it out. It was a little tiny TV, didn't even have cable. But I could watch VHS tapes in it. Back
Good.
when VHS tapes were a thing.
Those were things. I've
Where
said.
in the world? Kellyanne Conway. Is that what was on that VHS tape?
No, it was Die Hard.
Alternate facts, that was the death of her. I think I've told Stacking this already, but the hockey playoffs, I like them more than the basketball, which isn't saying much for the hockey. It just says how bad the basketball.
As well as you. Oh, come on.
Well, the hockey's fine. I mean, Nashville's in there. We like Nashville. My Penguins are in there. We like that. So two teams that interest me. All the yellow. Give me all the yellow. We kind of went through this. Stacking your thoughts. Golden State, Cleveland. What run has been more impressive? I gave my reasons.
I mean,
This season, which has been more impressive, not overall the last 2 years.
Yeah, just
have
the
we
playoffs.
gone through if any team from the Eastern or Western Conference has won 7 in a row in back-to-back playoff series or like back-to-back playoff years?
Cleveland's done that now?
I mean,
I can't. Yeah, just this year. Just these past couple weeks. They're both undefeated. Cleveland's about to sweep Toronto, and Golden State has that opportunity tomorrow
the
night.
East has been dog shit all year, so I guess I would give it to Golden State, given that Utah is a fairly good defensive team, and they're without their head coach.
I gave it to Golden State because Utah
That's right. I forgot about the head coach thing.
is the best team that anybody those two have played, and they've beaten everybody by double digits, and except one game, and the Indiana series.
When has Toronto done anything in the playoffs that's been impressive?
Nothing.
Well, they just cut it to a 5-point lead at the end of the third quarter.
But those fingers
Yay.
up. So there you go.
I'm like at Monty Python and the Holy Grail when everyone eats everyone, and I was like, yay.
Why does this not work? There we go. We do
That
have.
was Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and you couldn't get it.
No, I've never seen it. I hear good things.
I don't know this, but I'm going to go way out on a limb and assume we've never had an NBA Finals where both teams entered with an undefeated.
Oh, I would probably agree with that.
Because I think there have only been like 3 or 4 times ever where a team's entered the finals with no losses in the playoffs.
I still think.
So that would be fun.
I still think both teams lose. Maybe multiple games. Boston, Washington can beat them once, maybe twice, and Houston, San Antonio more than capable of a couple wins there. We've got trivia here. I'll give you both a strike.
Thank you.
50 points in the playoffs or more. 50 points in the playoffs or more. NBA. Who goes first? How many answers are there? Closest, you cannot go over. If you
All
go
right, stack it. We're going to do rock, paper, scissors over the air to figure out who picks first. You ready?
Okay. Not the rock, paper, scissors, lizard Spock from Big Bang Theory. It's just rock, paper, scissors.
Just rock, paper, scissors.
Yep. Is it on 2 or 3?
Ready? We'll go rock, paper, scissors, and as we say scissors, that's what you throw.
Okay,
Very
sounds
good.
good.
Very good.
Ready?
Yep.
With lag, we're gonna try this.
Okay.
Rock. Okay.
Sort of.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Paper.
Paper, paper.
Okay. I also said paper.
We're
Do it
doing it.
again.
Okay.
On 3, we'll start rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors.
You got a rock and a scissors.
Oh, and scissors. So you can go first, Akin.
You cannot
Thank
go
you.
over. If you go over, we don't like it.
Okay.
How many players have scored 50 points or more in an NBA playoff game?
10.
Charlie,
10. 10. 10. 10.
19.
you are absolutely correct.
It's 19.
Exactly 19. I may give you
Now, 19 players have done it, or is that 19 times?
players. I'll give you 3 additional strikes for getting it right.
Nice.
Everybody gets a strike. 19 guys have scored 50 points in a playoff game. Charlie goes first.
Well, Stacking goes first, I thought, because he won rock, paper, scissors.
No, he got to go first because of he got the guess. He got the guess.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, he got
If
to
I get to go first,
because you got the because you guessed the number. Yeah,
okay.
I think you were. Yeah. Okay.
I think the only guy that I know 100% sure has done it, although I'm pretty sure like I know 5 or 6 other guys that have. I will take Michael Jordan against the Celtics in the 80s.
He's done it multiple times. Yes.
By the way, great show going on right now on Spike TV. Bar Rescue.
Bar
Go
Rescue.
watch it. Great stuff.
Bar Rescue, Vikings.
Yep.
Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
Mike and Mike, Little Mike, Big Mike. Hockey.
Don't talk to me about that.
Wow, we're on the outs. Are we out on the outs on Big Mike, Little Mike?
I
Wow,
haven't talked about it yet, but it's coming.
it's coming.
Guarantee it.
3 Wingo and Big Mike. 3 Wingo, Big Mike.
I will go with Isaiah Thomas against the Washington Wizards.
Sure.
Thank you.
That's right. I forgot about that one. Since he scored 100 points in a game once, I've got to assume Wilt Chamberlain's done it at least once.
From my list, he did it exactly one time, which I found hard to believe. So that's
But did it at least once.
he did
How
it.
many points did he have in that game?
Efforting as we speak.
Pretty good.
Might bow out on this one.
You get a strike though. You get a strike.
Okay, good. Then I will say Pete Havlicek.
Pete Havlicek not on this list.
God
Not
damn it.
not on my list.
I shouldn't say that since I just came from a baptism.
God damn it.
Did you say Pete Havlicek?
I did.
Who did you
Is his
mean?
name John Havlicek?
Perhaps.
You're talking about the guy for the Celtics in like the 60s?
We're talking
No, I'm
Pete
not.
Maravich.
That might be.
Which
That might
guy
be
are you
him.
saying?
Out of all the like since we've done these shows,
A lot.
beginning of
You
time-
fucked up a lot of names.
how bad am I with names?
You're
This
getting
is not a
worse.
surprise.
You're getting worse. So, do you
It can't
mean
be any worse if I drink. That's the whole thing. It
Todd?
can't be worse.
John
Todd.
Havlicek? Is it John Havlicek for Boston or Pete Maravich for the Jazz?
John Havlicek for Boston.
I will accept.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie.
Pete Havlicek. Charlie.
So John Havlicek has done it.
Yes, he has. The Will Chamberlain scored 50 points in that one game, apparently. 1964. This list goes back to 64, so unless he did it before 64, that is possible. So I should say this.
So
1964.
no taking George Mikan.
George Mikan may have done it. Probably not. but 64. We have a one-score game in the best basketball town in the continent. There we go. Do not win this game, Toronto. Do not win this game.
Another guy, I don't know that he's done it, but a lot of times he got compared to Michael Jordan. Like to do Jordan things. I think he scored 81 or 82 points in a game once. I will take Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant scored points in a game. Let's take again. How many did he score? One time against the Suns in 06. So after Shaq left, he scored 50. He cheated.
That's right.
He raped somebody in Colorado. I don't know if he cheated.
Yep. Since he cheated.
Cheated on his wife.
Huh. Like it.
You like it.
Not that he cheated on his wife. That's wrong. Can I ask for a year?
1964 to current day.
Okay.
Those are your ranges. 50 years.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Not on my list. He scored the most points out of anybody, but he did not score 50 in a playoff game.
What a shitty player.
I'm sure he came close. Maybe a better pilot than player, but still. One strike to Stack.
Let's see. There's a guy I'm toying with saying, because I know he was really good and scored a lot of points, but it seems like every time I guess him in an NBA question, it's always wrong.
Are you going to
So
go
maybe I'm
Sharif
just remembering-
Abdul-Rahim again?
No, I wasn't going to do a Sharif Abdul-Rahim, but he is in NBA Jam. I think Sharif Abdul-Rahim is maybe an NBA hang time on Nintendo 64. You know what? Screw it. Stacken's already got a strike. I am going to roll those dice and hope it comes up double sixes. I'm going with the human highlight reel Dominique Wilkins.
Wilkins on my list. On my list.
I finally guessed Dominique Wilkins. And it was
Wilkins for a potential win. I think it was maybe he had a hell of a game against Boston one time. This was against Detroit in '86 where he scored 50. A lot of guys scoring exactly 50 points. You're on the ropes. You need a right answer. You need a correct answer.
Has LeBron James been mentioned?
He has not been mentioned.
Well, I'll go with him.
Only good player, only clutch players on this list, Stack, and he's not a clutch player. He is not on my list. Why would he be on
a
the
lot of
list?
people forget it was Kyrie Irving that hit the game-winning shot in the finals.
A lot of people forget that Ray Allen had the shot in 2013 to beat the Spurs in Game 6 to force overtime to save his ass. A lot of people forget that. So, that was our list.
Goddamn.
Charlie wins. Any more
Very good.
any more takers?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Not on my
Yes,
list.
probably. As I said it, I thought you probably have to make about 10 to 15 free throws to get to 50. He does
difficult.
not shoot free throws at all.
Difficult for him. Vince Carter did it.
How about Scottie Pippen?
No Pippins. No Pippins.
David Robinson?
Nope.
Isaiah Thomas for the Pistons?
No.
George the Iceman Gervin?
No. Ray Allen did.
Magic Johnson?
No.
Pete Maravich?
No.
Barry Bird?
No. Charles Barkley did. Allen Iverson, Karl Malone, Nowitzki, Jerry West, some guy named Russell Westbrook.
He doesn't count.
He don't count. He
Because
shoots.
he looks like a Ninja Turtle doesn't mean he doesn't count, Stackhead.
He shoots too much and looks like a turtle. He can't be on the list. 19 guys. Charlie wins. Naming 4 of the guys.
Good job, Charlie.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Good job in winning rock, paper, scissors earlier.
That's what I am. That and jelly beans.
Terrific. Baseball. What's going on in the baseball? Matt Harvey got suspended.
Joe Mauer hit a walk-off home run.
Joe Mauer hit a home run. Somehow, his first career home run of any kind. Of any kind.
I was at work, and it was in charge of putting together the Major League Baseball roundup in the newspaper. I was surprised that that was his first career walk-off home run. Like, I understand he is not a big home run hitter, but there was a 4 or 5 year stretch where he was maybe the best hitter in the American League for multiple years in a row. I just figured that if he was that good of a hitter, there would be some game that he would have done it before.
What,
But he's done it now.
Career bats?
Huh?
6,006 career at bats or something like that?
He did, yeah. It's 16-6. Boston's ahead. They have scored approximately 100 runs in the ninth inning. They have scored 9 runs in the ninth inning. That has to be fairly close, you would assume, to an all-time record. 9 runs in the ninth inning. The Twins. Not good. Irvin Santana, despite giving up 6 runs in 6 innings, his ERA is still at 1.72, which is very good. Better than Chris Sale's 1.92, as he gave up 4 runs in 10 innings, struck out 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes?
Yep, I said fuck him.
Chris Sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Irvin Santana. Better.
Stack it.
All right.
Semi-serious question, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but have you been drinking today?
I have.
What have you had? Your face is red as a dart.
Well, I was outside, so that doesn't indicate anything.
Okay, give us the timeline of your day. Give us the timeline of the day.
All right, so. Oh wait a second.
Charlie, do you feel like you have?
missed it.
Do you feel like this tarnishes your victory? That this
No,
man
not at all.
that this man would be picked up right now and thrown in the jailhouse if he was
No.
behind a wheel.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Let's go. Let's go with 8 o'clock, woke up. 10 o'clock, went to church. 11 o'clock, got out of church. I was godparent for a baptism during the 10 o'clock service.
You and your wife, or just you?
Me and my wife.
You and your wife.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I want to make sure we get this on record. You did not do what they did in the movie The Godfather, where you killed off all of your rivals while you were the godfather of someone's baptism, did you?
I did not. Nope. That was
Okay.
that was excluded from this agreement.
Did you expect to be named a godparent? Was this a big surprise to you, or was this
There was
like
a chance.
There was
There was a chance, but I wasn't holding my breath because otherwise I would have died.
Okay.
And eventually, yes, I was named.
There we go.
And
Did
then
you fist bump when you did? When you were named?
no, I went like nightclub fist bump. That's what I did.
How did they tell you?
They invited us for dinner and said, "Hey, would you be the godparent of Miss Isla?" And I said, "Yes."
How do you spell that?
Again, just to be clear, are you saying Miss Space Isla, where you're just giving her a title, or is her entire first name
Yes,
Isla?
it's giving the title.
So what's her actual name?
So her name's Isla, not Miss Isla.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
correct. How would you spell Isla?
ILA. I'm sure that's not how they did it.
I'm gonna guess it's AEYELA.
A. Wow. What a pain in the ass that would be to spell. Wow.
ISLE.
I-S.
Or excuse me, ISLA.
Isla. So we do that, or
I
that gets...
spell a lot of girls' names at work,
I know.
and I'm always surprised at how you can take a name and think, I guess it probably sounds this way. And then you look up how it's spelled, and you're like, wow, not only was I off, I was like 6 letters off.
And then father-in-law at the lunch afterward offered me some drinks, and that's where we are today.
What are you talking about?
Beer or hard liquor drinks?
Beer and hard liquor. Let's go. I don't mess
Wow.
around here.
Where was this at? This after deal?
At my friend's house right here in Fargo.
Right there. Where was the forum on hand to cover it?
They weren't, but I did call them and invite them.
It's the least, if they don't show up, that's their fault.
Exactly.
Second, when's the last time you've had this much to drink before 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Ooh.
Do we have to go back to your days in Brookings?
No. Let's see.
Just going to town on the Jelly Bellies like there's no fucking tomorrow.
You know it.
And remember, a handful for second is like 3 handfuls for
Jesus.
the rest of us.
Well, it's like the goddamn metric system.
Again, Delaware is cloudy today. So is Rhode Island. They're all cloudy. Let's see. I would say probably since I built a deck yesterday, that's how much I've had to drink.
Good.
Since you built a deck yesterday, that's how much you've had to drink?
Well, I
That
mean,
is not an accurate measurement for the...
I'm as drunk as I read a whole book yesterday, so that's how drunk I am. I washed my clothes yesterday. That's how drunk I am. What the hell are you talking
I'm
about?
gonna use that from now on. When's the last time you did this? It's like, that's the last time I've done that is since I built a deck.
The deck builder.
to be fair,
On your
I did
own
build a deck yesterday.
on your own house?
And, I did. Would you like to see it?
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely we'd like to go
Yeah,
on a little.
hey, show us your deck? I'm okay with that. Yeah, show us your
We'd like
deck.
to go on a goddamn tour of the household here.
It doesn't have the floorboards on it yet because we need it to be inspected by the city inspector.
How big is this?
Well,
14
don't
by
fall
6
through anything,
It says
man.
that.
I don't want you to injure yourself while showing us your deck.
Oh, I thank you. It's 14 by 16.
So we put some chairs on there. We do some things.
Yep.
Cleveland up 2 with 6 to go. Toronto held the lead momentarily. Let's hope this don't last.
Do you know when the last time Cleveland played in the Eastern Conference Finals was? Since
Last
built a deck yesterday.
It's been a long time ago. Last time they played in the Eastern Conference Finals, Sacken didn't have a deck. Now they do.
It's exactly right.
Now they do. Oh, terrific. Congratulations to everybody. Baseball picks, a good week for the curator of the baseball picks, the man who puts it together. Marcus Traxler with a 5-1 week with the Reds through Saturday night. Drew Amon needed a bounce back week, and he got one, 4-1. My Cubs are 3-3. If I win tonight, then me and Amon are tied for last, so that's good. Other notables there: Charlie picked the Dodgers, Stacken picked the Marlins. Bad week to pick the Marlins. So
It was because they had a lead against the Mets on Friday night and lost that.
yeah.
They were close against the Rays a couple of times and did not come through. So, fuck you, Giancarlo Stanton.
Fuck you, Stanton. Charlie, you've got Marlins already next week, so good bounce back week. If a team wins 1 or 2 games, I think they won today, so I don't know if they counted it today. Oh yeah, these have not been updated. So a 2-win week for Miami. Should do better than that next week.
I'll be 2-5. Yep.
I have the Rays, and Stacken already has the Red Sox, who are coming off an offensive explosion versus the Twins. David in first.
What a terrible week for that Boston-Baltimore series. That was awful.
You don't like it? David's in first by a game. Charlie's in second. Marcus a game and a half back. And I'm in last. 5 games back. 1 back of Amon. Your thoughts on Baltimore-Boston? Chris Sale will not be suspended for intentionally throwing at Machado. Machado hit some home runs. He was thrown at multiple times for a thing that happened weeks ago with the slide at second. Boston guys threw at some guys. They hit him. Curveball, a 77-mile-per-hour curveball caused the guy to get thrown out of the game. Didn't seem intentional. Would you give the umpires an F in how they handled this? We haven't even gotten to the N-word yet.
Yes, and I would also, as the Predators score 3-1,
It's over, folks.
Nashville wins.
It's over.
Let's go to the Stanley Cup Finals, Chris. Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, this whole thing could have been about as handled as poorly as you could possibly handle it. From the fans to the N-word to Chris Sale throwing behind Machado to the Orioles pitcher getting thrown out and then Machado walking around the bases. Listen, I get that Machado wants to stick it to the Red Sox for doing
I like it.
what he did to him. But you're only going to let this linger into the next series, which is June 1st. So I don't necessarily like it, what he did, but I do like it to a degree because he's saying, fuck you, Boston, fuck you.
Right. That's what he said. Charlie, should this thing have ended? This seems like it was done. They threw at Machado again, or they threw at somebody from Baltimore again. This was over a week ago. But then it seemed like it escalated again when the Baltimore pitcher, like in the second inning, hit Boston with a curveball, which if you're going to hit a guy, you're going to hit him with a fastball. So to me, it seemed like it started up again there, and it just continued. This is making you more interested in the next series.
Does it make me more interested?
See if somebody gets in a fight next when they play again.
If they get in a real fight, I might get more interested. But if they're just like throwing at each other and getting kicked out, it doesn't do a whole lot for me then. And like, I don't know all the unwritten rules. I quit paying attention to that a while ago. I'm generally more okay with throwing at players than some other people are. But like when you're doing like, hey, a week and a half ago this happened, we're gonna get them back now. Like when you start doing that, I think you're like too far out that. If someone does something in the game yesterday and you want to retaliate, later that same day or the next game, I don't have a huge problem with that, I guess. But also, like at some point, you need to be like, okay, we don't need to keep throwing beanballs at each other or curveballs at each other, which is even weirder.
This inning is still going on, or it just ended. It's 17-6 Boston. This was a 7-6 game in the ninth inning. It was 7-6. The Twins had
it was 7-6 when Stacken built his deck.
Jesus.
And then things just got out of hand.
Tear down the deck. Tear down that deck, says Reagan.
You shouldn't be able to celebrate Cinco de Mayo without building a deck.
I don't think
If
so.
you build the deck.
Not great. Not great for the Minnesota bullpen today. Bad. Real bad. So there you go. Anything else in your mind, Stacking? We wrap it up, a nice, tidy edition. Let's see.
Well, yeah.
It was a 4-hit week for Buxton, a 4-hit week, a career year in 1 week for Buxton. Hitting a robust 160.
I think Boston, the Red Sox, definitely deserve the majority of the blame for what happened this week. I know Tony Clark was on Mike and Mike this week. I did not hear what he said, but I would hope that he would think that baseball should take a punitive stance against the Red Sox. But then, again, I was hoping that everything would have ended, but then Manny Machado hit that home run, and now you just wait until that first week of the Red Sox series, and you wonder what happens. It's definitely not a good thing, as the Predators have gone on to the Western Conference Finals.
Good. Charlie.
Yes.
Could Frank Underwood undo the situation?
The Red Sox-Orioles situation?
What would his solution be?
Well, he definitely could do it. His solution would be he would find some way to whatever the owners, because my understanding is most owners in sports still own other things. They don't only own the sports team. They still keep their other businesses. He would find ways to cut off major amounts of funding or do something to dramatically screw up the owner's other interests and say, the only way I stop this is if you guys stop. And they would have one of two outcomes. Either A, they would stop it and it would cease to be a problem ever again, or B, they would stop it, but the owners would find a way to collude and get back at Vader Dane at an extreme and opportune time for him.
Seems about right.
That's my guess. What are your thoughts on that?
That would seem. I had no thoughts. That would seem the most logical thought to me. So, like, if Mike Ilitch was still alive with the Detroit ball clubs, and he'd put a hit out on the Pizza Huts and the Little Caesars. He's the owner of the Little Caesars. They would kill the Little Caesars business.
Having hot and ready pizzas is a health hazard, and you are not allowed to do that anymore, Little Caesars.
Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Stacking, what are you looking forward to the week ahead here? We'll know the Final Four of the Stanley Cup. We're thinking Ottawa, Pittsburgh. What are we thinking? Edmonton? What do we got?
That Edmonton-Anaheim Ducks Game
Amazing.
6 or Game 5 series, unbelievable.
What, Anaheim's up 3-2?
Yep, because they came back from 3-0 down in the final 4 minutes of the third period. That was great.
That was a great comeback.
I don't know if putting Ovechkin down in the third line for the Capitals does a whole lot for them. They did survive Game 5, but that was on home ice. So Game 6 against Pittsburgh Monday night will be very intriguing. I'm hoping for Pittsburgh, New York. Well, I'm hoping for Washington, but I anticipate Pittsburgh, and I'm hoping for the Rangers in the Eastern Conference, because screw Ottawa. And then I want Nashville in there, either against Edmonton or Anaheim. So go Predators.
I'm all about Nashville-Edmonton final in the West.
That would be good.
Charlie, chances we look back at this show as Stacken's final show before he dies of alcohol poisoning. This will have a very eerie feeling of this show. 217.
Stacking, I think there's a 69% chance that happens.
Jared Allen's number, so I don't think that's going to be possible.
Just stumbling over the jelly beans all over the carpet.
Wait, there's a lot of jelly beans over here that I picked up. There's some cherry, there's some blue raspberry in there.
All right,
root
how
beer,
many jelly beans do we have to pick from here? How many flavors? 5, 6?
49.
49. How many goddamn... How?
You compared Stacken's deck, and you wanted to tear it down to help the Twins, to Ronald Reagan and the Berlin Wall. So here's another Stacken-Reagan comparison. Who likes jelly beans more? Or likes Ronald Reagan or Nathan Stacken?
I think Nathan Stacken.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, Ronald Reagan doesn't have anything compared to me.
So you're telling me in that jug... You're telling me in that jug there's 49 different flavors of jelly beans in that one goddamn jug?
Yep. You want me to
What?
go through them quick?
Yes. How? What are there? Maybe.
Not only do we want you to go through them, we want you to right now, off the top of your head, rank your 15 favorites.
How many jelly beans are in there? How many jelly beans are in there? 400, 500?
Wait, how many?
How many jelly beans are in there? 500 jelly beans? 300 jelly beans?
It says servings per container, about 45. Serving sizes, 35 pieces per serving. So we're taking 35 times
35 times 45.
That's a lot of fucking jelly beans.
That is. So let's take that over here on the old Google Pixel.
Let's go on the Google machine. What's that say?
No, Google Pixel.
No, it's just under 1,600. That's a lot of jelly beans.
35 times 40.
1575.
All right, so the favorite flavor is here of the stack would be the Dr. Pepper one.
No.
That's number one.
Okay.
That will not be disputed. We got
Primo.
We got green apple. That's definitely up there.
It's a controversial choice. Controversial.
Sour cherry. Berry cherry. Red apple. Peach.
Good.
Do they have Dairy Queen pineapple blizzard flavored jelly beans?
They do not, and if they came with a Dairy Queen Blizzard, it better be apple pie, or otherwise they can go to hell.
Go to hell, he says.
Berry
Trying to
blue.
wish eternal damnation over something so small, but I guess that's how stacking feels right
When
now.
you eat the jelly bean, do you have any idea specifically? If you get a blue one, it's going to taste blue. You get a yellow one, it's going to taste some sort of yellow.
The
Do you have
brown
any-
ones are difficult.
If you eat a yellow one, it will turn you into a coward.
Don't the yellow
The
ones.
brown ones are difficult because some of them, like the chocolate pudding and the Dr. Pepper, are very similar shaded. So you have to be very careful with which one you pick. I would rather go with chocolate pudding than Dr. Pepper. Every once in a while, cappuccino mixes its way in there.
Didn't you just say that Dr. Pepper is your number one?
It is.
So why would
Dr.
you want the
Pepper's number
pudding rather than the Dr. Pepper?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
That's why chocolate pudding sometimes mixes its way in there because
Okay.
it looks like Dr. Pepper.
I see what you got.
Have either of you guys heard of the jelly beans that taste like they make jelly beans that don't taste like good things? Like they've got jelly beans that like also like taste like other weird things.
Bacon?
Like there's like
I feel like
Huh.
Harry Potter did that.
it might have been Harry Potter, but I was going to say it would be fun if in Stackin's
Dirt?
container of 1,575 jelly beans, there were like 40 of those really bad ones mixed in there, and they looked identical to the other ones that taste better. So you wouldn't know. You'd be like, hey, Dr. Pepper, and top it in your mouth, and it actually is one that tastes like dirt.
The three worst flavors to me are licorice, sizzling cinnamon, and top banana.
Banana, I'll go with banana. Banana's no good. Cinnamon would seem to me like taste like a hot tamale. Hot tamales are good.
Yep.
What's the other one?
Top banana.
Bananas are bad. What was the other one?
Oh, licorice.
Like red licorice, black licorice is
Red or
Black licorice.
black licorice is the devil's candy. Red licorice is fine.
We also have
Most
flavors
people
that
don't like black licorice at all. I don't hate black licorice.
I hate
Now,
black
a lot of people, when they hear that, get upset. I'm not saying I show red licorice. I think red's better. Black licorice would not rank high on my candy scale. But if it's, like, mixed with other stuff, I don't have a problem with a little bit of black licorice. And that apparently makes me a little bit of an outsider, like Kevin Nash or Scott Hall.
cinnamon is right up there in terms of one that I do not like. Also, bubble gum, caramel corn, cotton candy, and buttered popcorn. Not my favorites.
For me, there's too much variety in there where I would not like to delve into these other extra ones. I would like.
Also, like, I don't know about you guys, like, when I eat Skittles, I don't have a problem popping, like, different colors in my mouth.
Sure.
I feel like I wouldn't want to mix and match these
No.
very much. I wouldn't want Dr. Pepper along with buttered popcorn, along with cinnamon, along with chocolate pudding, like, all in the same mouthful.
You don't want that.
No bueno.
Can't be mixing them together, Stackin. When it comes to jelly beans, separate but equal.
Well, again, these
No-
are
no
jelly
problems.
jelly
Sort of
beans, so
education.
that makes these all that much more better and important.
We'll believe you. Is this now the official slow time of the year for you? Jeff Lloyd, II is done. No draft stuff. It's all they got the playoffs winding down. We got a handful of teams left in each of the sports.
I think July is going to be the slowest. That in August because we still have Marcus talking NHL playoffs in June, so that's very good. So I would say July and the beginning part of August are our slowest times of the year because we look forward to September and October, especially November when Charlie comes on and can do bull bound or not with some of our favorite college football games.
It's going to be a big year for bull bound or not.
You know what, Stackin? We can partially rename that right now, based off what you've said today. bull bound or deck building, because if you're not going to a bowl game, you might as well be building a deck.
Okay, we can do that.
Are we seeing the deck? Are we seeing the deck? Or are we done?
Well, we can share that after the show.
Wow, it's a bonus for just me and Charlie. Very
Yes.
good. One final note.
Seen the movie, he doesn't want it announced over the internet how to get in and out of his house.
Labitch James, he's completed a sweep at Toronto. 10th time the Labitch has had a 4-game sweep, most of all time of any player. Tim Duncan had 9. Parker and the Ginobili's had 7. So Labitch does it again. There you go. Nathan Sacken was drunk, ate jelly beans, spilt them all over the goddamn place. He was here.
I'm pretty sure drunk is a far cry from what actually happened, and it was more just a slight buzzed performance.
Yeah, buzz driving, I've heard. Buzz driving is drunk driving. I've heard the commercials.
That's why my wife drove, and that is why I congratulate my goddaughter Isla on being baptized today.
Isla Stacken, soon to be. We like it.
No, not
So
Isla
your wife
Stacken.
didn't drink it?
What's that?
Just you drank, not your wife?
Well, someone had to drive home. She had a few, but I had more.
When you're with child, Charlie, you can't drink.
Why is that?
So they don't have
That's a shame.
birth defects. No smoking, no alcohol for something developing in the mother.
Me and Charlie are not having said baby, so no.
No.
Wait, Stacken, are you trying to say that magical night didn't really happen? Are you trying to shut me out right now?
October 17th, 2015 did not happen from a part of my recollection.
October 17th of 15.
Well, if it was a year and a half ago, the child would already have been born.
You don't know that. Sometimes baby seahorses take like 18 months to have their children, so you never know.
Well, I am a third seahorse, so that might be part of it.
What a show, folks. 1 for the books. 217. It had it all. How will we top it? We won't. We'll go back to pH levels neutral next week. For Stacken, for Charlie, for the Penguins. We'll see you next week. Inside the Sports Line.